Hello and welcome to Nick Taylor Plumbing Limited. Today we are installing a Aqualisa Smart Q digital shower valve. As you can see just here, looks very nice. So today's top tip is to set this system up, plumb it in as much as you can downstairs, not in the loft space. Very tight for space up here, it can get very hot. Sometimes it's not boarded out and it's just easier to do it downstairs. Once you've done that, you need to find the positioning of it. We put this right at the end of the loft, so it's out of the way. Customer's got plenty of space everywhere else for his storage. And also, I haven't screwed this board down just yet because you need a bit of slack when you come to pipe it up, when you make your final connections over here. With the positioning of this, it's always good to bear in mind maintenance as well. You don't want to have it tucked right away in the corner or anything like that, because you don't want to be lying on your belly trying to deal with that. You also need to keep in mind the pressure and flow rates. One of the first things you need to do is check what system you have before you buy this. If you have a high pressure system, a low pressure system, and then from there you can choose which model you buy. Today, this one we've gone for a high pressure system. We've got a combination boiler, so it's a high pressure system, which is great. That in mind though, we still need to be conscious of pressure and flow rates. We want to achieve the maximum amount of pressure and flow out of the shower head as we can. So on my pipe work, I've put some nice lovely bends across here. I've minimised the amount of elbows on the pipe work, because if you think that water's coming up and it's hitting a bend, and it just slows it down. I put some isolation valves here as well. These I find really handy when for flushing. So for flushing, when you're soldering, the flux you use is acidic, and you get bits of debris that can get stuck in the working parts of this and damage it, and before you know it, you're coming back to fix something which you can't fix without replacing it. So simply put these valves on, pressure your system, fill your system up, and then bring a bucket of water up the loft and just fill the bucket as you can from these. Easily maintainable, easily isolated. Jobs are good one. This product comes supplied with some isolation valves which come on just here, here and here. They do have an arrow on them, so it's important you position that arrow so the water passes through them into the right direction where you want it to go. But they have got these isolation valves on. You'll find if you put a screwdriver in, they just kind of bend, and then not the greatest. But what you've got to do, you put your screwdriver in and you actually push it down into the body of it and then turn it. That way it's much better. Once you're up the loft, you've plumbed it in, now you've got to do the cable side. Always get a qualified electrician to put any electrics at the loft, and you always use a qualified electrician. For this we have the mains power, which comes from the main orange box. There's a 3-pin plug socket, self-explanatory, that plugs in. Notice it's off at the moment because we're going to be going in, opening up the insides of that shortly. With regards to the cables, the white cable here, you need to run that down to where the Smart Q valve goes. That's called the data cable. That then comes into this box here. As you can see, it's got the colour coded items just there. You have a smart little tool which you use. It's got 1 prong or 4 prongs on, and that is simply pushes in, opens a teeth up as it were. You then push the cable inside that, and then you pull the orange tool out, and it clamps down on the cable, so it's nice and tight. You've also, so that communicates from the shower valve to up here. You then put it into this box where the black cable then comes off, and that goes into this box here. You need to lift the lid of this box off. It's a simple screw, and then the whole thing comes off where you plug that in. It's almost like a telephone, BT aerial, where you plug in there, goes into the back of this box. So now I will lift there's a screw just here, so you unscrew that and then it lifts off to the side and up like so. And it's a bit dark down there, but that's where the data cable plugs into. You have another data cable port just here, which I have in my hand here. This one here communicates from the processor to the diverter, so you go to shower outlet A and B, so it's very important that you get that right so it can communicate. There's a little black toggle at the back which you have to bend and snap off. Once that's off and out of the way, you can then plug your cable in till it clicks. Once it's clicked, you then come over to this one. There's a screw just here, unscrew that, this then lifts off like so, and you'll find it says just there, so you get the other end and you simply plug that in till it clicks. I'll tidy these cables up in a moment, but for now I'll just push them over there and put your lid back on. I'll leave that one off because we'll go on to another subject in a moment. And that is simple as that. That's how you cable it up. There you go. We mentioned earlier about your system, of your high pressure system or low pressure system. This instance we have a high pressure system. This processor is fantastic because you can tailor it to your individual house and your individual system. So for example, a combi boiler and an unvented cylinder, they are both high pressure systems. However, a unvented cylinder, you're hot and cold, they go through a pressure reducing valve and they're both equal pressure around your whole house. Whereas a combi boiler is still a high pressure system. Your cold will be a higher pressure, and the hot, because it's got to go through your combi boiler, is generally about half a bar lower. So let's say, for example, your cold is at 3 bars of pressure, and a combi boiler, once it's gone through the combi boiler, it goes to about 2.5 bars of pressure. So there's a slight imbalance there. And on here, you can see you've got the gravity fed system, so ignore that because that's low pressure. HP for high pressure and combi systems only. The arrow is currently pointing towards a normal high pressure, which isn't true because that will be more like an unvented cylinder where your pressures for your hot and cold are balanced, whereas ours is a combi boiler. So I'm going to get my trusty screwdriver, put it in there, and quite simply turn it till it clicks to the combi. So that's tailored to the pressure of this house, which is excellent. Another point now to come on to is once you've pressurized the processor and the customer's using it and they're happy and they're enjoying the shower, I often find that it's too cold for them. The manufacturers set them at around about 38 degrees approximately to prevent scalding. So it's good, it's a good thing, but we can adjust that temperature manually ourselves up to a maximum of 55 degrees, which is plenty hot enough. You want to get it to really about 50 degrees maximum really, because that way the customer can regulate the heat on the valve itself downstairs. So we're just going to move that. Again, it's off the top of this where the orange box is, not the combi side where we've just been. The other side you can see max temperature adjustment. It's restricted to 55 again for scalding and building regulation side, so we don't want to go quite that high. So I'm going to take it to around about 45 degrees, and then I can test that, make sure I'm happy with it, make sure I'm certain that no one's going to get scalded, and then I can leave that as it is. So that's that. And there we have it. That's the details about this processor unit. Important to lag the pipework, which I'll do momentarily, and I'll tidy all the cables up just so it looks nice and pretty. Lagging is very important because we're at the loft space. In the winter it can freeze, pipes can get cold and pipes can split, and if you're in a loft space that water can only go down and cause a lot of damage. Simple bit of lagging solves that problem. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Any questions or queries, please comment below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Please like and subscribe and share the love. Thank you very much.